Welcome into another episode of Inside Goodyear from the city of Goodyear. I'm Jordan Bird, and we've got two special guests with us here today on this episode of Inside Goodyear from the Goodyear Fire Department, firefighter Olivia Pavlicek and Captain Aaron Pavlicek, the first father-daughter firefighters in Goodyear fire history. When I say that, what does that mean to you to be the first of that type of duo with the Goodyear Fire Department?
Go ahead.
I think it's
we're already seeing the captain and the firefighter come in. Yeah, Olivia, what does that mean when you hear that?
I mean, I think it's a really cool experience. Like, we are such a great dynamic just as father-daughter in general, and then bringing that into like the career side of firefighting is really cool because we are always trying to improve like any point of our lives, whether it's firefighting, fitness, health. So I think it's really cool, like the father-daughter duo at home versus a father-daughter duo at work. I think it really carries over. Yeah, it's awesome.
How different is that, Aaron? The father-daughter dynamic at work compared to at home?
We really try to separate it. We'll talk in generalities at home, training, techniques, ways to be successful. You know, I've been here for 20 years and she's been on almost a little over 6 months now. And so it's cool to share the experiences, you know, from things that I'm not so involved in anymore as a firefighter, you know, at the captain level that she brings to the table in different training modalities and stuff. It's really cool.
So 20 years for you with Goodyear Fire, 6 months for you. At what point we'll start with you, Aaron. At what point did you realize that you wanted to be a firefighter at the beginning of this?
Kind of a longer story.
Hey, we have the forum here. Yeah, the floor is yours.
I started out I used to work as electronic engineer, and I started out, that was my degree, and working that, and then post 9/11 I got let go because of all the ties we had overseas and everything. And then my wife had asked me, well, what do you want to do? What's something you really want to do? And I said, well, I want to be a firefighter. And so then I took my EMT class, and I was like, I really like the medical side. So I went EMT to paramedic, and I started out in California 24 years ago as a paramedic in Stockton, California. And then we decided, well, we want to take it to the next level, started looking around and came out here to Arizona, and I got super lucky, and I tested once and I got on with Goodyear Fire. And it was just the progression since then.
That's so cool. How about you, Olivia? I mean, I assume then you grew up watching your father be in fire service, being around a fire station. Was it always something early on that you knew you wanted to get into?
I was always interested in it. I would always, like, when he would come home from work, I'd always ask him about the type of calls he ran. I was always interested in, like, how his day went. I'd flip through all, like, the fire and EMS books we had at home. I was really into volleyball for a long period of time, so that was kind of like my route, and I was really interested in athletics, and so I knew I wanted to do something where I could be physically active and challenge myself on a daily basis, and that's kind of when firefighting, obviously, I grew up in it. I knew the routine. That was just part of my life, and I decided, like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, and I went to Tempe on the ambulances for a little bit to be able to just trying to get the EMS side, live in a fire station, work alongside firefighters. And then, I mean, from that point on, it was like I knew this is exactly what I want to do. And I started testing for the Goodyear Fire Department.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Just because you wanted to be a firefighter and your father works for Goodyear Fire, it's not a given that you can get into Goodyear Fire, right? I mean, you have to apply, you have to test, there has to be positions open. So it's kind of unusual that there even maybe was that opportunity from the get-go, right?
Right. Yeah. It's definitely going through the testing process. Like, there's hundreds of applicants at every fire department. And so being able to you go through a physical day, you do testing, like online testing, and then you do an in-person interview, and they weed you out throughout that. And my first time testing for Goodyear Fire, I got to the chief's interview, and then they had hired some other people over me. So that's when I decided I'm going to go to Tempe, work on the ambulances for a little bit, be able to get that experience on the EMS side, come back with more life experience because I am young. I'm 21 years old. And so I was able to get a little bit of life experience in that side of things and then come back and test again. And yeah, it was a really great experience.
That's cool for her because, excuse me, she's no opportunities given.
Yeah.
She's worked her tail off for this opportunity. And it's been really cool to see that growth and the change, you know, from the upsides, the downsides, everything else. And kind of going back a little bit, I was going to fill in like her getting into the fire service. Is Goodyear Fire, the city is so family oriented. Anyway, we would, in our first due, she played volleyball like in high school at Millennium. and I was over at Station 183, so that we'd go watch her volleyball games. We'd come to school functions. We were able to do stuff through fire prevention through Tanya and take the truck for displays and things like that. So we were always there growing up alongside of her, the whole department.
It's almost like you got like 100 uncles.
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
actually a
That's
reference
really
she
cool.
makes a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. It is definitely like you have uncles and aunts in the department. Like I grew up alongside them as well as their kids. A lot of them, their kids are my age. So I went through like high school, college, elementary school, all of this with them. So it's cool being able to go back and be on a different side of things now and live with people that have been family forever.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Aaron, for you, being in fire service for 20 years, when Olivia makes that decision that, hey, I want to go into fire service as well, what's your reaction?
I knew it would be a good fit. She always has that go kind of mentality. But physically she needed that physical part of it. She's physically fit, always has that, can't sit at a desk, had to be out there doing something hands-on stuff. But at the same time, I knew it would be a good fit, but there's inherent dangers to the job.
Yeah. And I guess that's what kind of was,
Yeah.
obviously firefighting in general, but carcinogens and workplace related things. I mean, it's a dangerous field.
Absolutely. From where the fire department is now to where it was when I first started has come leaps and bounds, especially with cancer prevention. So being with 20 years on, I can also help and guide her into the things that I've done. My pitfalls and hiccups and my successes that I've experienced over my time is I can help her and guide her, along that pathway. But it's great. Like I said, it's an inherently dangerous job, but she's doing a great job.
That's so cool. Now, 6 months in, has there been an incident, a call that you guys have actually worked together on?
We've had a couple calls that we've worked together on. He was actually on my first fire with me. It was actually like a street behind my house because we live in Goodyear. So it's cool. I mean, he was able to be there, watch me on my first fire, and we got to be able to have that kind of moment. And yeah, we've been on a couple calls together because we were out of the same station at one point in time. So it's pretty cool to be able to see that.
I have to imagine. I have 2 daughters myself, and I might need the box of tissue in the truck with me if I were to see my daughter's first call. Yeah. What was that moment like for you to actually see her out there in the field doing the work of being a firefighter?
It was, to be honest, it wasn't like this overwhelming moment of like, oh my gosh, I'm fearful for her and everything, because we train so much and we're very confident in what we do and how we train that you're prepared. And I had that confidence from the command perspective where I was at to all the communication, everything that went in as they arrived on scene. And I guess it was just fulfilling. It was fulfilling to see and watch her and her crew just, be on point with everything that they did as they came in and were able to, attack that fire.
Olivia, you said earlier that you were raised here in Goodyear. So now that and especially at 21, serving your community in the way that you do, does that hold any extra significance to you? That not only are you a first responder, but you're a first responder in the community that you came from.
Yeah, it is. I definitely think that, my first due right now is our house, right? So I would run
real quick, what does first due mean?
It means that's our area of due that we run in. So we have, so each engine will have a specific area they run calls in. And that's ours. So our house, where my brother, my dad, my mom live, all of those people, that is where I would run a call if anything ever went wrong, right?
Wow.
So for me, I think it holds bigger significance because I always want to train. I always want to be better. I want to be the best firefighter I can be. But I think it holds a little bit more significance for me because if something were to happen to my family, God forgive, I'm going to be that person running that call. And so I want to be on top of my training. I want to be the best person that I can be in that situation. So I think it holds a lot of significance. And I have family and friends here and people that I've grown up alongside in Goodyear. So it definitely is a lot of significance to be able to be that's somebody I could run on. And I have run on people that I know or I've been raised around or whatever the situation is. So it's definitely I want to be the best person I could be for that.
Yeah, I have to imagine the sense of pride that would almost take on and the personal touch of that where, of course, every Goodyear firefighter, regardless of where they come from or where they live is, doing the job. But to have that personal connection, I would think really adds that extra layer to it. Speaking of another layer of this, there's another member of the family that has had a connection with the Goodyear Fire Department, and that is a brother's son who worked with the city's crisis response team. Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, so he's got his bachelor's degree in psychology. Yes, and so he's volunteering on that side too. So he was volunteering for the crisis response team for about a year, and then now he's moved on to a full-time job in psychology. But it was really cool. It was really cool having him there as well. We have a picture of the three of us together at the station.
So just for future personnel planning for Goodyear Fire, is there any other siblings, any other family members that are going to come in the pipeline?
Yeah, find a spot for my wife somewhere.
Yeah, right. No, that's so cool. Now, I think one of the things that's so unique about being a firefighter is you live with your coworkers. So you've seen what it's like. You've been to fire stations growing up, but was there anything, with that type of side of being a firefighter that was surprising or you didn't expect once you became a firefighter yourself?
I think for me, it was pretty seamless. I felt like these people are family. They especially in Goodyear, everybody's a family. They want you to be included in it. They want you to be a part of that family. So being able to live with your coworkers, it doesn't feel like you're living with your coworkers. It feels like a big family. We all sit down and have dinner together. We have coffee together. We talk about our lives and cook together. Like it's definitely a family environment. So it doesn't feel like, you're walking on eggshells or living with coworkers. Like you're in a family environment.
Is it odd at all for maybe to work with other firefighters that you knew so-and-so when you were 8 years old and now you're on the truck with this guy?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because they remember things from my childhood and we joke all the time because they knew me growing up. So, I mean, it's honestly it's a unique experience and not a lot of people get to have. And so I think it's awesome. I have fun with it and they're like uncles to me, some of these people that I grew up with. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's such a big camaraderie and team environment and stuff. You trauma bond over different things and calls, and you talk about stuff. The dinner tables where we solve all the world's and departments problems, right? But there's a huge social aspect that comes with that too. Like I said, team bonding and everything else. But getting to figuring out where you fit in that team and what your role is in that team, along with responsibilities of a brand new firefighter.
How do you guys have similar personalities in terms of like being made for being or like having that mentality of being a firefighter, or are you guys kind of opposites?
I think we're pretty similar.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
People joke about it all the time. I think we have a lot of similarities. We're very fitness and health oriented, and we really prioritize those things. I think that's a big part of our personalities too.
I know people always ask her, "Hey, tell me about your dad," and people always ask me, "Hey, did Olivia tell you about this?" And back and forth. So.
Yeah. Now, just for anyone who may not be aware, explain just a little bit what is a typical firefighter shift? Like, what time do you show up? Just because I think it really is so unique that you're living there for an extended period of time. Tell us a little bit, just like a typical shift for a firefighter.
So we show up, our start time is we work what they call 48-96. So it's 2 days on, 4 days off. And then, so we show up, our start time is 7:00. Say it's a Monday, your shift always rotates. But say it's a Monday, then you'll get off on Wednesday morning. Starts at 0700 on Monday, you get off, 0700 on Wednesday. We show up early. We show up about 30, 45 minutes early, get everything checked off, just get everything ready to respond. Whether you're on an ambulance, whether you're on a engine or on the battalion, check off all your gear, everything, and then go in and see what's on the fire calendar, see what's scheduled for your 2 days. And you start your day. Training is a big part of our culture in Goodyear. So get out first thing, especially in this heat, and get out and train, and then shop, see what else is happening in the city.
Yeah, it really is a balance between living and then doing your job as well. Olivia, it's only been 6 months, but do you have a favorite moment so far in your time with the Goodyear Fire Department?
I think, every moment brings something different. Every day is different. That's what I really love about the fire service is some days you can be out, all day, not see the station at all. And then other days you can be training all day with your crew. I wouldn't say there's a specific moment. I do really appreciate the moments where we were at the same station. We got to work out together. That was definitely really cool.
We also started a our second day morning, it was nicer than the weather, but we started a second day morning little routine where we get up and have coffee together outside. Just sit at the picnic table outside, have a cup of coffee. This is at work.
Yeah. I mean, that's so
yeah.
cool.
So it was cool. We kind of started that routine as we get up in the morning together and then sit outside, have a cup of coffee, talk. She told me about the calls they went on or didn't go. She got to sleep that night or the calls that we had, because I was on the battalion. So it was cool.
Yeah, that is so awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing a little bit about yourself. If there's anything that, I guess my biggest ending point here is it's clear that you guys have a fantastic relationship. I assume that happened before, but has being coworkers yourselves now, do you feel like that has made you guys as a father-daughter closer, or was that already, like, you guys already kind of had that?
Yeah, no, I think it has. It has. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really strengthened that bond between that father-daughter relationship. A lot more respect for, what she does, and hopefully the other way too. And, so it has, I think it's really strengthened that bond.
I think it's cool. Like, we get to bounce ideas off each other all the time. Like, the other week, I think we kind of talked about, we were walking around, we saw some different type of like building construction, and we almost get to have these like off-duty training sessions where we talk about these things, we discuss them. And then in moments like we have our first fire, I already know kind of what he's thinking, kind of in the command role. He knows what I'm thinking, the firefighter role. And even like I remember over the radio, he said something about, hey, there's a man door on the side. I already knew what he was thinking. I kind of knew he wanted me to go to that area. And because we get to talk about it off duty, on duty, all of that, like I think it creates it betters us in our professions. And I think it betters us in our personal lives.
It almost sounds like a professional athlete, like going through reps, mental reps, right? And so you have that extra advantage that when you see it, then it's like, oh, I already seen this. I've already played the scenario out. Yep. Well, thank you guys so much, not only for joining us here on the Inside Goodyear podcast, but for your service to the Goodyear community. It was so great hearing a little bit about your guys' background, and congratulations, the first father-daughter duo of the Goodyear Fire Department. That is so cool. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
And thank you guys as well for joining us on this episode of Inside Goodyear. We appreciate it.